Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
It's here, Santa's big night. It is Christmas Eve. We're going to talk about why we celebrate and what's the history of some of our favorite songs on this fabulous Christmas Eve 2025.
Uncensored, unfiltered, unhinged. It's the Karel Cast. Listen daily on your favorite streaming service.
It is the Karel Cast. I am Karel. So very glad you are joining me on this Christmas Eve, Wednesday, December 24th, 2025. We made it, ladies and gentlemen, the holiday season. This is it. This is the peak of the holiday season. The next thing is New Year's Eve, and then nothing until Valentine's Day after that. I'm so glad you're joining me. My little festive background for today and tomorrow. Although with my computer here, you can't see the little presents that are back there, but oh well. You still see the tree. I hope you're having a lovely holiday season. I hope you're having a lovely day today. Maybe some of you are crazed getting everything ready for tonight or tomorrow. Maybe some of you aren't doing a thing. Maybe you don't even have a tree up and you're just chilling. Whatever you might be doing, I'm so honored and glad to be here with you on this Christmas Eve, my 63rd Christmas Eve of my lifetime. But I can probably remember like 59 of them? 50, yeah, about 50. Well, when you're about 4 or 5 is when you start remembering. And, before we begin with the history of Christmas and all of that, I just really wanted to let today's show be as nostalgic as you want to be. Look, I grew up poor, but I still loved Christmas Eve. Oh, how I loved it. Because I knew no matter what, the next morning, my parents would still have something special for me. If Mom sold Avon, I might just get Avon. I didn't always get the fancy presents, the bicycles, the telescopes. I did get wonderful things, though, throughout the years. Chemistry sets that they won't even sell today because we could blow people up. Oh, wood-burning kits where we could literally burn people's eyes out with them. Our toys when we were kids were murderous, weren't they? We could... there's so many different toys that we had that could blow up or blow things up or kill us. Jarts, those outdoor lawn darts, jarts, I got some of those. You hurled those through the air. If you missed, you could impale somebody. But oh well, we all managed. We all lived. And so it was a really nostalgic time. My parents would let me stay up late because at the 11 o'clock news, they would lead the news with the Santa Tracker. How many of you remember the Santa Tracker? They would lead the news with the Santa Tracker. And it was from NORAD, the Air Force. The Air Force kept track of where Santa was. Now, you can't explain to a kid that in order for Santa to get all over the world in one night to deliver toys, he would need a wormhole, or he would need a cornhole. No, different Santa. Or he would need, he would need to travel at the speed of light, and NORAD wouldn't be able to track him, but you couldn't tell a kid that. Oh, no, he was over the North Pole. He's heading to North America. Oh, it was magic is what it was. We were innocent, 1965, 66, 64, 63, I was a kid at 62 and born in 62, so it was magical times. Christmas was less. When I say less, we didn't have it for months. We had it after Black Friday. And it wasn't as commercial as it is today. It really was more about family and gatherings and, yes, presents. Who am I kidding? God, how many of you tortured your parents on Christmas morning? I mean, that's what they're there for, right? Now I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to pee. On Christmas morning as a kid, I woke up at 4:30 in the morning to get up and get my presents. Oh, and my parents would always be like, oh, let us make coffee. No! You're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to just march out to that tree, and watch me open my gifts. And it was always a big deal at our house, opening the presents, whether it was one present or five, it didn't matter. We got to open one tonight on Christmas Eve. Now, Christmas Eve is more Christmas to me than, Christmas Day. Christmas Day is kind of anticlimactic for me. I don't know about you. But remember on Christmas Day, tomorrow morning, when you would go out and everybody was out playing with their new Christmas gifts? That doesn't happen anymore. But wasn't that cool when it did? People would have their new bikes, their new skates, their new telescopes, their new this, their new that.
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, and no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
So please share with me down below some of your Christmas Eve memories. I'm sure some of us have had some pretty crappy Christmas Eves. I have. Things have gone wrong. People have died. People are in the hospital. But, there is still a magic to it. I don't believe that it was the birth of Christ, and I don't believe in Santa. Well, I believe in Santa's magic. But I don't, believe in a guy breaking into our house, eating our cookies, and then leaving us a present. Better known as a trespasser, home invader. But, there are some great memories of Christmas Eve and Christmas morning because they all sort of blend, right? I mean, once it gets dark, that's it. That's it. For me, on Christmas Eve, once it gets dark, it's Christmas. That's it. It is Christmas from the time it gets dark on Christmas Eve until nighttime on Christmas night. And growing up, you don't really think about why are we doing this? What is the genesis of this? You don't really think about that. But as I got older, and I know a lot of you know this already, or some of it or whatever, but since it's Christmas Eve and Christmas Day tomorrow, we're not going to talk politics, topics, Donald Trump. He's getting a lump of coal. And he'll be happy with it because he's all about fossil fuels. So no lump of coal for him either. Give him, I don't know, Noxzema to take off his orange makeup. I don't even know. What would I give Donald Trump for Christmas? A grenade without the pin? Kidding. It's a holiday cheer. Ho, ho, ho. So I wanted today to tell you a little bit about why we are celebrating today. A lot of you aren't Christian. A lot of you don't believe in Santa Claus, but you're still celebrating. And believe me, long before the Romans decided that this was to be a Christian holiday, we still celebrated this time of year. We certainly did. Now, it was called Midwinter. It was the Midwinter festival season, and it was about the winter solstice. Make no mistake, our solstice was the 21st, a few days ago. So the Midwinter was a natural festival. It was a festival season. And, all cultures did it. It wasn't just like the Dutch or the Germans or no. All cultures back then, except probably African cultures, because I doubt that it was winter. Same with Australia. They opposite seasons. But in the northern hemispheres, there was a natural festival season long before Christianity. Harvest was stored, nights were the longest, communities gathered for warmth, for light, and for hope. Across Europe and the Mediterranean, winter festivals often shared recurring motifs: evergreens, candles, fires, feasting, social release, getting drunk, getting crazy, dancing, and gift giving. Now remember the evergreens. We'll talk about them. So Saturnalia, which you all probably know about, was Roman, and it was in mid to late December. It was a feast, the Feast of Saturnalia, and it was, honoring Saturn, the god of Saturn. There was a lot of revelry. It was the Romans, very debaucherous. There was gift giving. There were a lot of things that we do today that they did during Saturnalia. There was also Invictus, or Sol Invictus, which would mean Sun Invictus. That was in later Roman religious life. Some later sources connect a December 25th birth of the unconquered sun celebration to the same date that Christians picked for Christmas, for the birth of their Savior, even though he would not have been born in December. Yet historians debate the direction of influence and the evidence basis for that. The earliest clear Roman evidence, and this was invented by the Romans, the actual Christmas, was invented by the Romans for a December 25th celebration of Christ's birth. The first one appears to be in the calendar associated with AD 336, about 4 years after Cher was born. Kidding. So AD 336, often discussed via the Philotian material compiled later on. So why December 25th, you ask? Well, there's two main explanations. The first is the internal Christian calculation theory. March 25th was treated as the date of the Annunciation and sometimes the crucifixion. Adding 9 months yields December 25th. Festival competition and cultural overlay theory. That was that Christians may have emphasized the date in a culture already rich with midwinter festivals. Later, Roman solar observances may have overlapped or competed. So they picked a date that had things going on, but wasn't the date of the thing going on. They tried to put it around those festivals so they could get people involved. Roman Empire and appropriation, what got absorbed. Christian leaders generally rejected pagan worship, but they did repurpose familial seasonal symbols such as lights, greenery, and feasting into new Christian meanings. In other words, Christians made stuff up. What tends to carry towards in later Christmas culture is public feasting. That was a big deal. Special meals, celebratory meals with charity, family. Greenery, evergreens, and wreaths as symbols of life, symbols of hope, and symbols of endurance during winter. They brought evergreens into their house to give them endurance to get through the winter where it was very bleak and there was nothing green outside and all the crops and plants were dead. And so the evergreen was still green. So they brought it into their house as a way of easing the winter and knowing that the spring would be coming. Candles and lights as symbols of guidance, hope, and, in the Christian setting, the light of Christ. But basically, candles and Christmas lights happened because it got dark so frickin' early, 4 p.m. So to make it seem less dreary and horrible, candles and Christmas lights. The modern Christmas tree tradition is strongly associated with German-speaking Europeans from the 16th century. It spread through Britain and the U.S. in the 19th century. Early tree decorations commonly referenced in historical include apples. That's why we have red Christmas ornaments, nuts, wafers, paper ornaments, ribbons, and candles. Candles could burn the tree. That, it was a problem. In the U.S., the tree became mainstream in the 1800s. Mass-produced ornaments and retail culture accelerated the look we have today. Those started in the 1800s as well. So that's pretty new here in America, the 1800s. When you consider Christmas started back in 336, it's pretty new. Before electricity, candles on trees were useful. They were beautiful and extremely hazardous. Electric holiday lighting spread gradually. The U.S. visibility increased with high-profile displays, including the White House tree lighting ceremony in the 1800s, which was so important because many houses still didn't have electricity. So to see the White House light up a Christmas tree with electric lights, that was a miracle. It was like a Christmas miracle. Wreaths were, again, the evergreens. They have older classical meanings, victory and honor. And they were later a Christian symbol via the eternity circle. So a Christmas wreath made out of evergreens symbolizes eternity and rebirth because of the green. The Advent wreath is commonly traced to 19th century German Protestants. Popular accounts credit Johann Heinrich Wickern with the candle wreath as a teaching tool. Mistletoe. Why do we kiss under the mistletoe? Mistletoe had long-standing folklore associations in Europe. The kissing custom appears much later and has debated origins. No one's quite sure, except that people were cold and horny. With evidence pointing to Britain in the 18th century, and it was popularized in literature, so people, did it. They read about it. So people in books stood under mistletoe and kissed, so people decided they wanted to do it too. Caroling, Christmas carols, which we'll talk about in a minute, it historically meant a song linked to a dance that later became strongly identified with religious and seasonal music, the word carol. But the word carol just typically meant a song. Wassailing and caroling, going house to house with songs while drinking, tie into older communal seasonal practices and became a Christmas staple over time, again, not starting until the 1700s. So some of the traditions are very new. 1700s, 1800s, 1500s for the Christmas tree, the 16th century Germany. Now, when it comes to Santa, there's some origins there, right? Saint Nicholas was a 4th century bishop, so the 300s again. He became a legendary gift giver. I bet he did. And so he was the basis for Santa Claus. He was a bishop in the 4th century, in the 300s. The Dutch Sinterklaas contributes directly to the English Santa Claus. Sinter, Sinterklaas, Sinterklaas. Modern Santa, with the red suit and the hat and the North Pole and the reindeer, is a composite built over centuries, shaped by poems, illustrations, advertising, and in pop culture in the 19th and 20th centuries. So the whole red, Santa, everything, that took hundreds of years to really evolve. It didn't just happen all at once. There was Santa Claus, but he didn't wear all the regalia and all of that. He was Sinterklaas, and he was an emulation of a bishop that lived in the 3rd century that was a tremendous gift giver. Now, in the Alpine regions, Austria and Bavaria, Krampus appeared. He was a horned figure associated with the St. Nicholas season, often a punisher. So Sinterklaas or St. Nicholas brought you the gifts if you were good. Krampus came for you if you were bad. So Santa didn't punish bad kids or not give them gifts. St. Nick had nothing to do with that. He had a counterpart, Krampus. And so you wanted St. Nick to come. You didn't want Krampus to come. Krampus will be going to the White House this year, not St. Nick. So I hope they're not planning on seeing anybody dressed this way, because all they're going to see is a horned figure, because that's who deserves Krampus this year. Medieval and early modern Christmas, church observances, local feast, and seasonal misrule. That means partying. And community customs vary by region. They do. In the 19th century, industrialization and print culture helped standardize it all. All right? The family Christmas, the charity themes, and then, of course, retail became a part of Christmas in the 1800s. In the 20th century, we just ran with it. Movies, radio, TV, advertising, we just ran with it. So we really commercialized it. Really, really, really. So Christmas didn't just drop out of the sky fully formed. It's sort of a collage of winter solstice culture, Roman Empire politics, and of course, European folklore. The earliest clear December 25th evidence is in AD 336. And, you know, they emulated St. Nick because he was a good gift giver. Krampus? He did too. And I know y'all have a few people that Krampus could go visit this year. I certainly do. Every member of the cabinet should get a visit from Krampus. Every one. As for St. Nick, I think each and every one of you deserves a visit from him. I really do. As we celebrate a sort of religious feast for some people, a seasonal human need for light and togetherness, that's really what this was about. It was like this need we had for light, for togetherness, for debauchery. And so these cultures and cultural phenomenons emerged. We're also going to talk about the history of Christmas carols, who wrote them, who sings some of your favorites, and some of the really odd history behind some of them coming up. So don't go anywhere. It is Christmas Eve. I am Karel, spending it here with you, and I'm so happy about that. Oh, I really am actually. I'm overjoyed with Christmas Eve. I really am. Thrilling.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
By the way, since Christmas is basically European, I open my presents Christmas Eve because that's Christmas morning in Europe. If I were in Europe, I'd have to come up with a different reason to open them on Christmas Eve, because that's when I like to open presents. You know, I'll save one or two for Christmas morning, but Christmas Eve, I like to watch Scrooged, watch the 1939 version of A Christmas Carol, open some presents, have some vegan eggnog, which they just make with almond and coconut milk and some spices. And then have a lovely dinner, and then just be with my dog. You know, that's a lovely Christmas. I don't know what you're doing tonight. What are you doing tonight? What are you doing tonight? Really, what are you doing? You staying home? You going to see friends? You have family over? Go ahead and tell me in the comments. What are you doing tonight? I'd love to hear. What are your traditions for Christmas Eve? What do you do to bring in Christmas tonight? If you're Jewish, hey, it's Hanukkah. You know, it's interesting how almost all religions have some sort of festival around Christmas. There's Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I don't know the history of Kwanzaa. That'd be kind of interesting for me to look up. What is the history of Kwanzaa? Because I really don't know what the history of Kwanzaa is. Do you? Let's see if we can figure it out here. What is the Kwanzaa history? Let's see. Oh, I can't even pronounce it. Kwanzaa is an annual cultural celebration created in 1966, so I was 4 years old, by activist and scholar Dr. Maulana Karenga, Karenga, as a way to unite and empower the African American community by honoring their African heritage. The name is derived from the Swahili phrase Matunda Ikwanza, meaning first fruits. Well, here I am. Who knew it meant first fruits? Mr. Karenga developed Kwanzaa in the aftermath of the 65 Watts Rebellion in LA, a period of significant civil unrest. His goal was to create a non-religious cultural holiday that would reaffirm African values, foster a sense of community, and restore pride among people of African descent who had lost much of their heritage through enslavement. The holiday is modeled on traditional African harvest festivals from various cultures, including those of the Ashanti and the Zulu. It's observed from December 26th to January 1st. It centers around 7 core principles known as the Nguzo Saba, Swahili for 7 principles, with one principle emphasized each day. Oh, isn't that interesting? So each day they ruminate on a principle. And those core principles are, let's see, umoja, unity, kumba, creativity. Well, that's very interesting. That's a cool thing to celebrate. I think I like Kwanzaa. I do. I think I like Kwanzaa. And I like the idea of the 7 principles. That's really cool. Celebrating unity. The 7 principles of Kwanzaa. They are, let's see, unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Well, those are very Christmassy and they're very fabulous. So each day from December 26th to January 1st, they celebrate one of those principles. That's really cool. Instead of the 12 days of Christmas, they have the 6 days of Kwanzaa. And that's really quite cool. And as for Hanukkah, well, do any of you know what Hanukkah really stands for? Why they do it? What it is? It's the Festival of Lights, an 8-day Jewish holiday, celebrating the rededication of the Second Temple in Jerusalem after the Maccabean revolt against Greek-Syrian oppression in the 2nd century. So the 200s. The 100s. So Hanukkah predates Christmas. It's marked by the miracle of oil burning for 8 days, celebrated with nightly menorah lighting, special prayers, fried foods like latkes and sufganiyot, dreidel games, and gifts. It begins on the 25th. Oh, so on Christmas it begins. Of the Hebrew calendar. That usually falls in November or December somewhere. So it doesn't fall on the same, I believe it doesn't fall on the same day every year. They light menorahs, they eat fried foods, they play with a dreidel, they sing. It lasts for 8 days and nights, beginning the 25th of Kislev, Kislev. In 2025, that would have been Sunday, December 14th through sundown, December 22nd. So Kislev, the 25th day of Kislev, and that was Sunday, December 14th this year. So it does change every year. But it's 8 days. It's a festival of light, celebrates burning of oils, celebrates rededication. The word Hanukkah means dedication, commemorating the cleansing and redirection of the temple. That's really cool too. That's a cool thing to celebrate, as is Kwanzaa, as is Christmas. So lots of cultures celebrating this time of year. Pagans celebrating Festivus, celebrating the winter solstice. But all of us celebrating in December to break the monotony, to break up the winter. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the history of some really popular music. So one of them is the biggest selling single of all time. And another has very racist roots. And yet we sing it like it's a happy, joyful song. You're not going to believe that. I didn't believe it. I just found that out. Just found it out this week that one of our Christmas carols is basically racist. I imagine a lot. Well, White Christmas, hello. Doesn't say brown Christmas or a black Christmas. It's snow, Karel. It's snow. Yeah. MAGA's hoping for a white Christmas. I'll tell you that right now. All right. So we'll be back to talk about the history of songs on this Christmas Eve. I hope you've already started your Christmas Eve tradition, whatever that might be. I hope you're all cozy, snugs, and bugs and rugs. Or if it's hot where you are, like here in Vegas, it's going to be 70, maybe you'll spend it by a pool. Who knows? I spent many a Christmas outside in Long Beach. We had barbecues on Christmas before. Oh, yes, girl. So come right back for part 2 of the Karel Cast, where we're going to talk Christmas music, which is over today, by the way. Tomorrow, no more Christmas music. That's it. Done. Over. You don't get to hear it on the 26th. No.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Showtime is here, and no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
Alrighty, you know, you love all the Christmas carols, but do you really know what you're singing or why? We're going to tell you. It's Christmas Eve here on the Karel Cast, and I hope you're having a good time. I'm having a ball. Ember's in her Santa suit.
Uncensored, unfiltered, unhinged. It's the Karel Cast. Listen daily on your favorite streaming service.
All right, it is the Karel Cast Part 2 on this Christmas Eve. So glad you are joining me and sharing some time with me. Those of you diehard fans that are doing it, listenership, as we know, is down over the holidays, but I'm glad you're here. All right, so music. There's no two ways about it. Even before it was named Christmas, there was music. It was a festival. People danced. And there's been some Christmas carols that have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. Others are just brand new. Some have interesting stories, and some are just songs. What's your favorite Christmas carol, by the way? And if it's All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey, do not put that down below. All right, just don't. But what is your favorite Christmas carol? I'd love for you to comment down below and let me know. What is your favorite Christmas carol? And do you have any that are just so sentimental? They always get to you because you think of your mom or your dad or your brother, sister, your wife, your husband, your children, whatever it might be. You know, there's one that's such a happy song, really, and I sing a rather untraditional one. Alexa, play Jingle Bells by Barbra Streisand.
Sure.
I love
Jingle
this song.
Bells by Barbra Streisand from Apple Music.
Uh-huh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A-dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Hey, 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 bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun it is to sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank. Misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifting bank, and then we got upset. Upset? Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. So you get the point. Alexa, pause music. Dashing through the fields of white on this happy Christmas night. Off we go through the snow. Bells are ringing, we'll be singing jingle. Oh, get up there, Miss Ember. I can't move right now. I'm on air. I can't lift you up in the chair, girl. Yes, you can. You're singing jingle bells like a fool. You can help me. Oh, it's Christmas Eve. I'll help you up. You want to get up? You want? All right, hold on, everybody. Ember needs up in the chair. Here we go. Come on. Up we go. There we go. Yes. See, I'm turning off lights. I'm all because I got to help my dog up in the chair, honey. It's Christmas Eve. You got to do it. You got to do it. Oh, and then she got down. That bitch. I get up, I pause the show to get my dog up in the chair, and she gets down afterwards. All right. So that's a happy song, right? Jingle Bells, and Barbara's version, very happy. It was written by James Lord Pierpont in 1857. It was originally entitled One Horse Open Sleigh. Here's the problem. James Pierpont was a minstrel show composer, a staunch racist. And the song was originally written for adult entertainment, not for children. Pierpont supported the Confederacy, and minstrel shows of the era were rooted in racism caricatures and blackface performances. Although the lyrics themselves do not contain any racial language, they do have some inferences in there. The cultural context of its creation places the song within a racist entertainment tradition. Now, Jingle Bells was the first song broadcast from space in 1965 during the Gemini 6 mission. It's ironic that, the horse being lean and lank, black people couldn't afford, big steeds, fields of white. Believe me, I've heard it broken down before. It's a racist song. And the guy that wrote it, big racist, big, huge racist. However, most people don't know that, and they just enjoy it as a celebration of winter and riding around in a sleigh, which most of us have never done. I have. I've lived in Maine and Massachusetts, and I've ridden in a one-horse open sleigh, actually. And I sang Jingle Bells while doing it. Barbra Streisand.
You're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, and no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
Alrighty, we are looking at some of our favorite Christmas tunes. We just found out that Jingle Bells, written in 1818 by Jingle Bells, written in 1857 by James Lord Pierpont, basically is rooted in racism, and he was a big racist himself. Predating that, another song you all know, Alexa, play Linda Eder, Silent Night.
Sure. Silent Night by Linda Eder from Apple Music.
Very beautiful. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it a marvelous song? Holy night, and this version is very true to the original. A choir and a string instrument. Oh, yes. Christ the Savior is born. Hear that cello? Alexa, pause music. I could just listen to that all the time. Now, that song has a very, very cool history. It was written out of necessity, okay, the mother of invention. Joseph Mohr and composer Franz Gruber. It was written in Austria. And the reason it was written was because the church and their choir were getting ready for a Christmas mass and the organ broke. Huh! And the organ repairman couldn't get there in time to fix it for Christmas mass. It wasn't like they had the yellow pages or the internet. They couldn't just look up an organ repair person. And what were they to do? So Joseph Mohr and Franz Gruber wrote Silent Night for the guitar. Okay? It was the first Christmas hymn written solely for the guitar. Most were written for the organ. This was written for the guitar. It was first sung in a very small church Of course, after the organ broke, it emphasizes peace and calm during the Napoleonic War era. Now, Silent Night was sung in 1914 in the Christmas truce of World War I. It is said that the Americans on Christmas Eve, and the trenches were literally, you're not even 100 feet apart. So they pop up, shoot, 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 pop back down, pop up on the other side, shoot, shoot, pop back down. And so on Christmas Eve, the Americans started singing Silent Night. And the French started singing Silent Night as well, as did the Germans. And all of a sudden, the war stopped. It stopped. They came out of the trenches. They exchanged gifts. They had cigarettes, matches, bullets, but they exchanged what they had. They made coffee, which was a big deal. They shared what they had with each other. And the next day, went back to killing each other. Not making that up. It's a song that stopped a war. And it was written all because they needed something to play on the guitar. All right, let's see. What's next? Alexa, play White Christmas.
Sure. White Christmas by Bing Crosby from Apple Music.
Of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the tree.
Oh, Bing. Alexa, stop. So this was written in 1942 for the movie. And Irving Berlin, was a Jewish immigrant from Russia. He went on to write with the best-selling single of all time. It is the best. Nothing has sold more copies than White Christmas. The song reflects nostalgia for an idealized, peaceful America during World War II. And it truly was about the war and having peace for an evening. And soldiers who were over in foreign lands were dreaming of being back in their own land with the White Christmas and all the Christmas things that they knew, because they, of course, didn't have those. Now, in something very interesting, the version that you just heard is from a 1947 re-recorded master. And that's because the 1942 master by Bing Crosby was used for reproduction so much, the master wore out. And Bing had to go back in 1947 and re-record it so they could make more records and more records and more records. The song was that popular. They wore out the master, and 5 years after it was originally written in 1942, in 1947, they had to re-record it so they could continue selling it. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Alexa, play Deck the Halls.
All right. Deck the Halls by Nat King Cole from Apple Music.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly.
Fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Da la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel. Fa la la fa la la fa la la.
Told the ancient Yuletide carol.
Fa la 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 la. Alexa, stop. That's a very happy song, particularly by Nat King Cole. That is a traditional Welsh melody dating back to the 16th century. So the melody existed in the 1500s. Lyrics were added in 1862 by Thomas Oliphant. And he just took an old melody and put these lyrics to it in 1862. Now, Deck the Halls was originally a New Year's song. It wasn't a Christmas song. It was a New Year's song. And the fa-la-la refrains, those were very, very popular in madrigals of all kinds. Now, the plural halls is not meant meaning hallways, okay? It was what they referred to the big manor houses as. You know, Eaton Hall, Boulay Hall. So deck the halls means deck all the houses. I know you probably thought deck the halls meant deck the hallways of your home. Nope. Houses used to be called halls or manors. And so deck the halls means deck all the houses. As for gay apparel, honey, you know what that means. Alexa, play Judy Garland, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Okay, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by Frank Sinatra from Apple Music.
I said Judy Garland, did I
A
not?
merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light.
Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Meaning right now we're in trouble.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
More gayness.
Make
the Yuletide gay. I'm all for it. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Alexa, stop. So, as you can tell, this is not a happy song. The person singing it is troubled. Our troubles will be miles away. Let your heart be light, meaning right now your heart is heavy. It was written in 1944 by Hugh Martin and Ralph Blaine for the movie Meet Me in St. Louis with Judy Garland, and she sang it. And again, it was just too damn depressing, of a song. So in 1945, when Frank Sinatra did a cover of it, he actually requested the lyric changes to make the song more optimistic, and Judy in the movie had done so as well. So it was changed twice. Judy changed some of the lyrics in the movie. Frank Sinatra had even more lyrics changed. And, it's depressing now. Can you imagine what it would have been if they had left the lyrics, we'll have to muddle through and we may not have a home and, all of that. Can you imagine? Suicidal, you would have slit your wrist. Now, there have been some controversial Christmas songs that created a stir at the time and were banned from the radio. And this is one such song. Alexa, play I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
Sure, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus by Jackson 5 from Apple Music.
Wow! Mommy's kissing Santa Claus!
Mommy's kissing Santa Claus. The whore.
I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus underneath the mistletoe last night.
At least they were under mistletoe.
She didn't see me creep.
Didn't see me creep. He's a stalker.
To have a peek. She thought that I was tucked up in my bedroom fast asleep. Then
Uh-huh.
Mommy tickled
She tickled Santa Claus. Alexa, pause music. So when it originally came out in 1952, it was written by Tommy Connor in 1952. When it was originally come out, the song caused great controversy because of its sexual implications. Now, it's told from the innocence of a child, misunderstanding adult behavior. It's not Santa Claus she's kissing. It's Dad. He's dressed as Santa Claus. The many radio stations of the day refused to play the song. And it wasn't until later in the 1960s, when it was free love and everything was groovy, that the song really found its core in American Christmas culture, because many deemed it was just too sexual. Just too sexual. And it kind of is, She's kissing him under his beard. What else is she kissing? She licking his candy cane? What's going on there? All right, Alexa, play Jingle Bell Rock. See, she shouldn't listen to me. Shouldn't listen to me. Alexa, play Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
All right. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by the Countdown Kids from Apple Music.
Who the hell are the Countdown Kids? The artists that they pick for you sometimes, right?
You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen.
Yeah, they're all bullies.
Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen.
Every Rudolph, or every reindeer that just was named was a bully.
The most famous reindeer of all. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose.
Am I on the Teletubbies? I feel like I'm on the Teletubbies. Alexa, stop. She won't. She loves it. Alexa, stop. So Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was written by Robert L. May in 1939 with music added by Johnny Marks in 1949. In 1939, Robert L. May wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the story of Rudolph, as an insert for a Montgomery Ward's catalog. It was to sell things. The catalog insert became hugely popular, drove tons of people to Montgomery Ward's, and Montgomery Ward's decided to capitalize upon that and make little Rudolph dolls and all of this stuff and capitalize on Rudolph. Now, the company very easily could have kept the copyright because Mr. Mays worked at an outside advertising company and they were clients. So they technically
Now it's showtime.
All right, sorry about that. I ran a little over. But, you know, he was an outside advertising agency firm, and he did this Rudolph insert, and Montgomery Ward's could have kept the copyright, but they did not. In one of the most magnanimous things a corporation has ever done, they gave the copyright back to the family so they could profit off of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It became very, very popular. It became a Christmas special, as you know. It launched so many Christmas items. But it was originally a promotional giveaway for Montgomery Ward's. It, of course, has themes of bullying, exclusion, and redemption. And those resonated with America that was in war and post-war. Johnny Marks was Jewish and wrote many iconic Christmas songs. He wrote the 1949 music to it, but the lyrics were written in 1939 by Robert L. May for Montgomery Ward's. Now one of my favorite, just favorite. Alexa, play Linda Eder, Do You Hear What I Hear?
Okay, Do You Hear What I Hear? By Linda Eder from Apple Music.
I love this version. Oh, I love it so much. It's very tribal. Do-do. Do-do-do-do. And what I love more is the meaning of this song. Do you all know why we sing this song? Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see? Way up in the sky, little lamb, do you see what I see? I love this song. Alexa, stop. I would let this entire song play and just sit here and listen to it. Linda Eder, Do You Hear What I Hear? My favorite version. It's one of my favorite Christmas songs for a very important reason. First of all, it was written the month before I came out. And I don't mean as gay, although, that was in the 70s. In November of 1962, by the way, I'm told I'm a premium gay. They have classes of gays now. I'm a premium gay because I never came out of vagina. I was a C-section. So, but I have had sex with women, so I guess that negates that. But anyway, Do You Hear What I Hear was written in October of 1962 by Noel Regney and Gloria Shane. It was a desperate prayer for peace during the Cuban Missile Crisis, because I was born in the wake of the Cuban Missile Crisis in Miami, Florida. It was a terrifying standoff between the U.S. and Soviet Union on the brink of nuclear war. Composer Noel Regney, scarred by his experience in World War II, he had served in World War II, was inspired by the sight of innocent life in New York City amidst the global tensions, leading him to write lyrics that became a powerful Christmas carol calling for hope and an end to conflict. The crisis occurred in October of 1962. The world feared nuclear annihilation as Soviet missiles were discovered in Cuba. Regney's background, he was a French World War II veteran, a Nazi deserter, a resistance fighter. He understood war's horrors and felt deeply about the fear of humanity losing it again. His inspiration was walking in New York. He saw very peaceful scenes, mothers and babies, and felt a profound need for peace, prompting the lyrics. Regney wrote the words, and his wife, Gloria Shane, composed the music, creating a unique collaboration. Released shortly thereafter, the song resonated deeply with the fearful Cold War audience, with drivers reportedly pulling over to listen, making it an instant hit. The Star, said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see? A star, dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite. That is a nuclear missile streaking across the sky, contrasting with the song's plea for peace. Now, it was written as a B-side for a single, but became a massive success, selling millions of copies and becoming a Christmas classic with a strong anti-war message. So the star streaking through that's a nuclear weapon. You know, pray for peace. People everywhere, do you hear what I hear? You know? And what you're hearing, by the way, are the prayers for peace. Do you hear what I hear? And what you hear is prayers for peace for people everywhere. That song is an unabashed anti-war song, a cry for peace on this Christmas Eve. I don't know what music you love. I hope I touched on some of the history of the songs you love. Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, written in 1958, again by Johnny Marks, recorded by Brenda Lee when she was 13 years old. The song became a major hit years later as radio formats evolved. Blue Christmas, Elvis Presley, 1948, again Billy Hayes and J.W. Johnson, popularized by Elvis in 1957. It has been recorded by more than 75 different artists. 1962, again, Johnny Marks. He wrote so many Christmas songs, this Johnny Marks. It was written for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer TV special. It was performed by Burl Ives, which single-handedly propelled it to number one on the charts. And, of course, the one that makes me cry every year, Do They Know It's Christmas? I was there. It was a fabulous recording event. Boy George, everybody, every British pop star in the world, George Michael, everybody, Bob Geldof from the Boomtown Rats got them all together for 36 hours. Paul McCartney, just the biggest stars. And it became one of the first big songs for charity for Christmas, written by Bob Geldof and Midge Uri. It was created to raise money for Ethiopian famine relief. Very impactful. Now, it's criticized for simplifying African life and the African realities. But it did launch Live Aid. Live Aid started because of Do They Know It's Christmas? So, Alexa, play Do They Know It's Christmas?
Sure. Do They Know It's Christmas? Original 1984 version. by Band 8 from Apple Music.
1984. I was 22. I am Karel. Be who you want to be, so long it doesn't hurt anybody. Merry fucking Christmas, everybody. Oh, I'm going to cry. This song makes me cry every time. I hope you have a great Christmas Eve. I'll be with you tomorrow with more music. A history of my music tomorrow. Songs I've recorded and why. We must share a smile of joy Throw your arms around the
It's
world
broadcasting
at
from a
Christmas
completely different point of
time.
Yours.
But
Listen
say a
daily to the
prayer.
Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Say it for the other one at Christmas time.